Hi, Rich Leiter here, and welcome to my channel, The Naked Booktuber. I wanted to talk today about a particular aspect of oil painting for those oil painters out there. There's a lot of talk, a lot of information out there about painting safely, painting solvent-free, without using turpentine and without using petroleum distillates. A lot of people, more and more people, are becoming aware of the harm that can be caused by solvents. And I wanted to just have a short video saying that in addition to the dangers of solvents, I think that oil painters should be aware of the potential hazards of siccatives or drying agents as well. And I just wanted to relay my experience with it. I'm a new oil painter. I've been painting in acrylics for a long time, and I decided to switch over to oil paints. But at the same time, I realized that I wanted to use oil paints in an extremely safe manner. I realized immediately that because I don't have great ventilation, I usually do my painting in the room that you're looking at right now. It's a small room, and I am very, very aware of the hazards of solvents. And I wanted to choose an oil paint that was completely safe to use. And I wanted to be sure that, theoretically anyway, that if I had to paint in a room with no ventilation, let's say in the winter time, that it would be safe for me to do so, that I could relax and that I could just concentrate on painting. So I spent a lot of time researching different only artist grade oil paints. And I decided to choose one brand which everybody knows. It's made in the USA. This artist grade oil paint. It says it's solvent free. I think that every single one of the artist oil paints that I looked at, they all say they're solvent free. And they all tout that as being. They all make a big deal about solvent-free. That's one of their selling points. So I picked this particular brand because it was solvent-free. And also, when I was painting, I decided not only to use solvent-free oil paints, but I would not use any solvents with it. I would not use any alkyds, because alkyds have solvents in it too. I wouldn't use any liquid, which stinks like hell, smells like... it smells bad, I didn't want to do anything like that. The only thing I wanted to do is paint straight out of the tube, and maybe if I had a second or a third layer, I would very judiciously use linseed oil or walnut oil. And I would also clean my brushes, not with turpentine, not with a solvent, but I would do it by putting them in some kind of an oil bath like a safflower and wiping them carefully that way. Or just leaving them there when I'm not painting so they don't dry up. So I picked this particular brand, you all know it, and within 10 minutes or so of my painting, I noticed that there was a certain odor in the room, and that it was irritating me. It wasn't like a terrible odor. It wasn't like there were these intense fumes that I just couldn't tolerate. But I noticed that I had a slight bronchial irritation. And even after I finished painting for the day, it would take a while for that bronchial irritation to dissipate. Now, interestingly, my wife, who often sits with me in the same room when I'm painting, she didn't have that reaction. She didn't feel irritated at all. It was me, okay? So I thought to myself, well, this must be my imagination, because, I checked out this product. It's solvent-free. I got nothing to worry about. Well, as it turns out, I found another person on the internet, on an artist's chat site. And this particular person also experienced the same kind of irritation with only this particular oil paint company. There were a bunch of others, and she said she had no problem with the other ones, but only this one. And as it turned out, this particular country did say to her, it didn't try to hide the fact. They said, well, we do use some Siccatives in our oil paints to facilitate drying. And they suggested, well, maybe you're allergic to the Siccative. And I think that I was allergic to the Siccative too, in some way. I reacted to it. So anyway, I contacted this company and I asked them for a little more detail about the Siccatives they use in their oil paint. And they just said that the Siccatives they use are non-toxic, the particular ones they use. So I presume that means they don't use a Japan dryer or cobalt dryer. They said, or lead-based dryer, I assume. They just said they're non-toxic. They said, however, we cannot tell you what they are and in which paints they are because that's proprietary. So I said, okay, well, thank you very much. So right after that, I Googled non-toxic Siccatives, or non-toxic drying agents in oil paints. And I immediately came up with two that popped up on my search engine. One of them, I believe, was something called zirconium. And the other one, I forgot what it was. But these two in particular, it does say on Google, it says prolonged use may result in irritation to your skin. Irritation to your skin, and it might tend to irritate your lungs. Prolonged use, it said, can result in lung granulomas. Didn't say lung cancer. It said lung granulomas. Lung granuloma is like a lung nodule. Well, says me to myself, this doesn't sound that non-toxic to me. So I immediately stopped using that brand, and I did some more research in other brands that did not have Siccatives. And by the way, it is kind of easy to find out which professional or artist oil grade paints don't have Siccatives. You can just do what I did, just type it in. Does brand X use Siccatives in their oil paints? And they'll tell you right there. And if you have any doubt, you can email the company too to confirm it, So I did more research, and I finally settled. There were several brands. A lot of brands don't use Siccatives, they say. And I picked one particular company, which is also pretty well known. And this particular company uses a combination of linseed and walnut oil for their oil painting products. I actually contacted by email the guy who makes the oil paints, and he assured me that except for, I think, flake white, which I'm not using, he says the only things we put in there are a combination of linseed and walnut oil and aluminum stearate, which is industry standard. Aluminum stearate, I understand, is a stabilizer that prevents the oil and the pigment from separating in the tube if it's sitting on the shelf too long. As far as I know, I've never been allergic to linseed oil. Never had any experience with walnut oil. And aluminum stearate, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I was also allergic to that. I don't know. So anyway, I bought this. I ordered some paints from this new person. And when I started using it, I didn't have this irritation at all. So immediately I could tell it was not the linseed oil, it was not the walnut oil, and it was not the tiny bit of aluminum stearate, I believe, that's put into the oil. So that clinched it for me. It was obviously this non-toxic Siccative that was irritating me. And by the way, this new paint I have, it does have a kind of a very mild odor. It doesn't even smell like linseed oil so much as some kind of oil, but it's extreme. I guess that's the walnut, but it's extremely mild. It is not at all irritating so far as I can tell. So far it's a go for me. So anyway, I just wanted to make this video and make people who are very, very conscious about oil painting in a safe manner, who have the same mindset I do, who either have no ventilation or very little ventilation and just kind of paranoid about making sure you're painting safely. I wanted to make them aware of the fact that not only do you have to be aware of the the toxic pigments, for instance, if you choose to, cadmiums, the cobalts, that's something to be aware of. And of course, the solvents is something to be aware of. And of course, the alkyds are something to be aware of. But the one thing which I don't hear about on the internet are siccatives, how the irritating effect of siccatives, and that one should really research this too if you really want to put your conscience at rest that you're painting safely. So that's why I just wanted to give you this little shout out about this issue that I was having. And once again, I mean, nowadays, all of these big artist oil companies, they always make a big to-do touting how they're solvent-free. You see solvent-free all the time in all of their little write-ups on their product, but you never see siccative-free, okay? And I feel really that they should include this on their data sheets, safety sheets, and that they should just include it as a matter of course when they do their description of their oil paints. I mean, they don't have to give you any proprietary information, but I think that they should, and they do let you know if you ask them, but I think they should volunteer that information too, in the same way they do about solvents. So that's just something I think to be aware of. Of course, look, if you're not allergic to siccatives in the way I am, if you don't mind using a little bit of Gamsol once in a while, if you have great ventilation, then this video is not for you. But it is for those people who are conscious of this and are bothered by it. So that's it. So thanks very much, and I hope this has been helpful for you.